to ask you what you said after this. There's two matters scheduled at 1:30. This matter, okay, and then there's an eviction matter, and then a lieutenant matter that's also scheduled. And it appears that the van lieutenant matter has something to do with this matter. Okay. All right, this is the matter of Commonwealth versus NaOmi Smith. Ms. Smith, you were cited for disorderly conduct back in December. You pled not guilty and requested a trial. All those who are going to testify, please rise and raise your right hand. To swear by Almighty God that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, as you shall be judged by God on the last great day. Yes. As we see. Now, Ms. Smith, we received some correspondence from Attorney Clark that he was going to represent you. And he called today and indicated that he was unavailable in an emergency. He also indicated to the court that you had instructed him not to come. So he's not going to be here. And due to the fact that Attorney Clark had previously continued this matter, I was none too pleased when he called to tell me that he wasn't going to be here. But there was an emergency, and I found to be valid, so I excused his appearance. So for purposes of today's proceeding, you'll be representing yourself. All right. How many witnesses does the Commonwealth have? I'm next to my own registration. Okay. You call your first witness. Okay. Okay. Miss Pearson? Oh, I have to go. That's fine. Yes. Hi. Oh, I'm a little bit nervous, sorry. It's okay. Try and make yourself comfortable. I realize that the situation over there is not the most comfortable. It's the best we can do. You may proceed. Hi, Ms. Pearson, can you tell the court what happened on December 20th of last year around 5:30? Yes. I'm sorry, 3:30 in the afternoon. I was coming down from the conference room upstairs. We had just had a luncheon up there, and I was bringing down one of the food items on top of the table, and I observed NaOmi scolding Teresa. I don't know what the matter was about. I remember NaOmi shouting at her belligerently. She was standing behind the table where the tenants were talking to Teresa, and this went on for about, I'd say like about an hour, I'm guessing, and Teresa had to pull her shade down, and NaOmi was still belligerently shouting at her. I heard NaOmi tell Teresa, you need to go back to Spain. As soon as, while that was going on, Matt came in, and she started to get louder as Matt came in, and it escalated to where Teresa had to call the police. I do remember NaOmi threatening her. I'm not sure the exact word what she said to her, but I remember her continuously being belligerent and shouting at her. Okay. For how long about was the shouting going on? I would say about a good hour. Teresa called the police. And okay. So it wasn't just an isolated incident, it was continuing shouting match. Yes, sir. Not match, but shouting in one direction. Yes, sir. Okay. And this happened in like the public area of the building? Yes, sir. In the downstairs in the lobby, yes, sir. You couldn't categorize that as being like a private area where? Yes. Okay. Okay, and you identified Ms. Smith as the one that was yelling? Yes, sir. Yes. Okay. I have nothing further for our judge. Ms. Smith, do you have any questions for the witness?
What was the conversation about?
I don't know what the conversation was about. I just came down.
What was you said I threatened her. Did I threaten her life? Did I threaten her with harm?
Yes, you did.
What did I say?
I remember you telling Teresa, if I see you in the street, I don't remember what your exact words were, but I did hear you say, if I see you in the street, don't try me in the street, or it was something of that nature.
Don't try me in the street?
Don't try me, or else if I see you in the street, it was a combination of both. So,
Yeah.
But I know it wasn't a pretty sight, so I'm sure that if somebody...
Was my back turned?
No, you were facing Teresa the whole time.
Was my back turned to you?
Yes, it was.
And, this was in the lobby, and was there like something between me and Teresa like this here?
Yes, it was down. It was where Teresa, when she pulls her gate up, or when she pulls it down.
And I was just, you'd have no idea what I was talking about.
I don't know what you were talking about to her.
But I was loud enough for you to hear?
Yes.
But you don't know. What was the nature of the conversation?
Let her finish the question before you answer.
Okay.
And try and keep it to one question at a time.
Yeah, just really what was the nature of the conversation?
I'm not sure what the conversation was about. I just know when I came down, I observed you shouting at her belligerently.
You observed me for an hour, but you don't remember any bit of what the conversation was about?
I don't remember what the conversation was about.
Did you tell me in your room Sunday that you didn't hear me shouting?
I told you that because you came into my room. I told you were able to come in, and you asked me if I was testifying, and I told you no. And to be honest with you, I told you no because I did not want you threatening me or telling me that if I testified, you could have done something physical to me. I don't know.
So you're afraid of me?
You were in my room. I mean, that was my home, and I don't know what you would have done if I would have said yes, I'm testifying against you.
Did you tell me that I wouldn't do anything to you when I asked you if I was intimidating you?
No.
You didn't tell me that.
No.
What if I had a recording of our conversation?
You recorded the conversation?
What if I did? Would I be allowed to play that, Your Honor?
I don't think anything next to this case.
It was specifically about this case that the conversation was about. She's saying that I'm threatening his staff, and I have everything on recording.
Let's just proceed with the questioning and see where it goes.
Okay.
I'm a little uncomfortable when you tell me that you're surreptitiously recording somebody. There are rules and regulations which govern this. It's called the Wiretap Surveillance Act. You can get in a lot of trouble if you violate that act. So I'm cautious if you're recording somebody without their knowledge.
Oh, I thought you could bring it up as rebuttal testimony.
But not in that fashion.
I didn't know
It's
that.
a recording that was surreptitiously taken. I think that runs afoul of the wiretap ordinance, man, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Do you have any further
No, I
questions?
don't have any more questions for today.
Let's start from the beginning.
Tahito Pearson.
And you reside at the YMCA?
Yes, sir.
All right. And Miss Smith resides at the YMCA?
Yes, sir.
You testified that you heard Miss Smith utter some threatening words.
Yes, sir.
To Teresa. What specifically did you hear that you thought was threatening?
I remember her. If I see you in the street, or if you don't try me in the street, because it was something in that direct tone of manner, and I just thought that was pretty. It's kind of discouraging to say something like that, especially to the landlord. And that, in my opinion, it wasn't right. I mean, why would you sit there and threaten somebody? Teresa is staff, and it's not right to do things like that.
You testified that this incident occurred over about an hour period.
Yes, sir.
And were you privy to the conversation during the whole?
Yes, I did. I sat there the whole time. Yes, and NaOmi just kept up with the shouting and the belligerence, and she didn't even stop. The only time she stopped was when Teresa called the police, and she actually went upstairs to her room. And the cop talked to me, and then he went upstairs and asked NaOmi what was going on.
Did it appear to you that Teresa was a voluntary participant in this incident?
Could you clarify, sir?
Well, one could made the argument that Teresa could have simply just walked away. Like, I'm done with you. I don't want anything more to do with this. I mean,
Yes, Teresa.
that never happened.
No, Teresa was telling her, Naomi, I don't want to argue with you. Would you please just, Teresa was telling her just to keep quiet and then telling her just, I don't want to argue with you. I'm going to call the police. And Naomi kept pushing and kept arguing, kept shouting at her belligerently and telling her. Then she told Teresa, you need to go back to Spain. And I just, that was totally ridiculous. That was.
Ms. Smith, do you have any further questions for the witness?
No, I'm just, just what she heard. She just says, can you define belligerent?
Like I said, he told Teresa that she needs to go back to Spain, and I figured that was a racial slur.
So, is that belligerent racial slur?
Belligerent, shouting at her.
What does belligerent mean to you?
Belligerent means to me using profanity, using racial slurs as the one you used. Told her she needs to go back to Spain. I mean, if somebody had said to you...
Was there profanity used?
There was profanity.
What, like the S word, the F word, the H
I
word?
did hear you use the S word. I did hear you use the S word a couple of times. And, that was totally... in my opinion, that was totally uncalled for. I mean, Teresa had told you to back away from her office, and you just kept escalating. You just kept shouting at her.
I kept asking her questions.
You kept asking her questions.
I kept asking at her and asking her.
But it was in a rude manner. It wasn't like you were just standing there asking her about your rent or...
Was she answering my questions?
She was telling you to leave.
She didn't want to answer my
She
questions.
didn't want to be bothered with the situation.
She didn't want to answer my question. I kept asking her about them.
Well, you kept pursuing it in like a derogatory manner.
I was asking her, who have you been talking to me about in the building? Was asking her that.
And you were shouting at her.
And I was asking her, did you make yourself system administrator on my computer?
You were shouting at her.
Using group policy.
You were accusing her of hacking into your computer and also talking about you to other tenants in the building.
Right. Has she ever spoken to you about me?
No.
And I kept asking her those questions over and over
You
again.
kept asking her, yes.
That's how I remember it, but I remember shouting, and I remember yelling, but I do remember asking her questions over and over again. So that's all I have to refer to you.
Okay.
Do you have any further questions for the witness based on the court's query? No. Thank you, Ma'am.
You're welcome.
Call your next witness.
I'm going to call the other victim here, Teresa Legal. Thank you.
Teresa, like you?
You're employed at the YMCA?
Yes, I am.
What's your position?
I'm the property case manager of the housing part of the YMCA.
Alright, how long have you held that position?
Approximately 3 years.
What are your job duties and responsibilities?
My job duties and responsibilities are to maintain the building, make sure anything broken gets fixed. I'm also a case manager, so I'm able to refer my tenants to different places. I give them information. I do background checks. I do a little bit of counseling. And I refer them to like food banks. I help them get rental assistance when they're in need of rent, depending on the situation. I do several different things, and on occasion we will all get together on the holidays and things like that, and we'll all cook things and we'll all enjoy a meal together.
Thank you. You may proceed, officer.
Thanks, Judge. Ms. Leahy, can you tell the court what happened on the date in question on the citation, which was December 20th of last year?
What happened was, on that particular day, we had a Christmas luncheon in the building where we had all the tenants come in. Every luncheon that we have, I put up signs throughout the building, and I put signs on the door to make sure that everyone comes. However, we don't have the ability and money to support these events every single time. So we all get together and we all donate stuff. Somebody cooks this, all different things. Every time I do that, Naomi seems to have a problem. She'll either deface the paper that I put on the wall. She'll come back yelling and screaming about we don't have to donate anything. You get this money from the government. Ridiculous things. I'm always telling her, I'm not arguing with you. I don't want confrontation. I've tried several times to tell her, can we talk? There's no winning with Naomi. That day in particular, we all went upstairs. We were all eating. She approached me in the room upstairs where we all were in the meeting room at first, and she had a cake in her hand, an Entenmann's cake. She took the Entenmann's cake and tossed it on the table and said, here, I brought something. Can I eat now? And I said, you really didn't have to bring anything, but I always put the notice up there just if people want to, but sure, you can eat. I would never deny anybody food. She got her plate of food and everything was fine. Approximately, I would say almost 4 o'clock by the time that I go home, Naomi comes downstairs and at first very calmly says to me, I want to know how you're getting inside my computer and stealing my things. I was constantly telling her, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't go into people's computers. She's saying that I go through the wiring and I steal things out of her computer. I didn't know people were capable of doing that, but I don't do that. And I explained that. And she just started to escalate and started to say, oh, you got in my computer. And then she started accusing me of going in her room. She started accusing me of talking about her and just yelling and yelling and yelling. I tried to defuse the situation by talking to her calmly and saying, Naomi, I don't want to argue with you. Please go back upstairs or go outside, but please, you're here, there's people here, you're causing a scene. She kept on and on. She started mimicking me, saying that I speak Spanish this way, and started basically talking about my race and go back to Spain and all kinds of other things. Still at this point, I continuously said to Naomi, please leave. I'm going to call the police. She kept on. So what I did was I stood up from my desk, very nice and calm. I closed the door because at that moment I felt like I was in danger. So I closed the door very soft. She was standing in front of, I have a counter in front of my desk about this big. And there's a metal gate that I can roll up and down. So the gate was up. So I went very calmly and I closed the gate. She was right on this side. I was on this side. I closed the gate very calmly, locked it because at that point I felt in danger, and said to her again, if you don't remove yourself from the front of my office and don't stop bothering me, I'm going to call the police. At that time, Matthew, my other witness here, walks into the building, and when she sees him, she starts yelling even louder and screaming. He basically said, I have nothing to do with this, and he left and went upstairs. At that point, I said I had enough, and I dialed 911. When she heard me on the phone talking to the police, she ran upstairs and didn't say anything else.
How long did this go on for about?
I'd say about a good 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Okay. And is this the first time that Miss Smith has either yelled at you or accused you of something that you found strange that you testified about?
No, it's not the first time.
Okay.
This has been going on for several months. She's constantly telling, she has told me several times, wait till I get you outside. She has come to me and just been plain rude. She accuses me of going in her room. I have to perform inspections once a month in all of the units to make sure that they're being maintained properly. I always give the tenants a 48-hour notice or more so that they can be prepared for when I come in. Upon entering her room, every time I go to do an inspection and she's there, she starts yelling and screaming, calling me liar, saying the same thing over and over, several occasions already. She's even, Naomi herself has scheduled an appointment with my supervisor to try to tell my supervisor the same thing, but all she starts talking about after that is the poltergeist. So, people in the building are even talking to her. She's saying thinks she's practicing witchcraft. She's telling me that she put a spell on me. All kinds of things that are really disturbing the entire building.
But this event here just was enough. It was basically the straw that broke the camel's back, and it was the breaking point that you needed to call the police so we could intervene and talk to NaOmi about her behavior.
Yes.
Okay.
I feared for my life because I don't know what to expect when I leave the building.
Okay. The judge had brought up earlier about maybe just walking away. Would it have been possible at this point, given the location of your office, to the common area in the building?
No, because the way it's set up, the lobby has 2 chairs, and the lobby is like it's a public area. And so the tenants are up and down. It's the only way to get in and the only way to get out of the building. My office is in that lobby, and there's really nowhere for me to go. I don't have like a second door or anything like that. So that's why I barricaded myself in my office basically. When I close the door, I close the gate.
Okay. I have nothing further for Judge.
Cross-examination.
Did you tell me and my mother that the guy who died on the 3rd floor, you've seen his ghost in the building?
Never said that.
Did you tell Raymond and the other tenants that I was the reason why they couldn't have holiday get-together meals?
I didn't say that.
When I brought the devil's food cake to participate in the holiday meal, you're saying I threw it at you?
No, I said you tossed it on the table, like here. I brought something.
Were you sitting at that table?
It was on the counter when all the food was.
Was there anybody there that I was throwing it at?
No, I never said you threw it. I said you tossed it on the counter.
Do you have a group policy established on your network?
I don't know what that is. What is that?
It's just security, for a network security. I'm not an expert either. All I know is that I was unable to update Windows and I needed the password for whoever established themselves as system administrator on my computer. I came to ask you for the password. And then also after that I asked you, what have I ever done to you?
I don't recall that. All I recall you saying to me is to stop going in your computer and taking your stuff, which I try explaining to you several times that is impossible for me to go inside your computer. How am I going in there?
That was done and over with. I mean, you said that and then we moved on to other things. You told me not to see Matthew anymore when I was seeing him. Am I correct?
No, I never said anything. I said to you that I don't deal with tenant issues. Is what I tell you and everyone else in the building. Your personal life is your business. I have nothing to do with that.
When I went away for a week, you asked Matthew where I was and what I was doing.
I didn't even know you went away. In all honesty, NaOmi, I don't know what you're talking about.
You're calling me a witch and you're saying that I have been declaring myself as a witch?
That was you.
Two. I said that's you. I said that you were a witch. Told you I'm a witch.
You said to me, I'm putting a spell on you.
Why would I bother? Nobody wants to waste their time on a spell on you. Nobody would do that. That's
Testify. Do you have any further questions?
this went on for 20 to 30 minutes. Was your life threatened?
At some point, not my life, but you were saying to me, when I catch you outside, watch what I'm going to do. That could mean a lot of things.
I said, when I catch you outside, watch what I'm going to do. How did that happen? Tell us the beginning of the conversation. Like, how did I just ease that in? Was that as I was walking away? Was that in the beginning of the conversation? At what point did I say that?
You said that during the whole yelling that was coming from you. That's what you said. Throughout the whole ordeal of you yelling and arguing by yourself, that's what came out of your mouth. Because I wasn't even arguing with you. I was just telling you, leave me alone, get away from my office. I'm not arguing with you.
You didn't want to answer any of the questions I was asking you.
Because you were standing there cursing at me, yelling at me, and like demanding that I tell you what you want to hear when it's not true, or I have no idea what you're talking about.
When you perform inspections, do you ever inspect my room when I'm home?
I give you a 48-hour notice telling all of the tenants you're going to have an inspection on such and such a date. It's going to happen whether you are home or not. If you have a problem, you can contact me and we can make further arrangements. But in your lease, it states that you have to have a monthly inspection, and I give a 48-hour notice every single time.
Have you ever inspected the room with me in there?
Yes.
How many times?
I can't say off the top of my
Judge, I think we're moving away from the case here.
She said I'm accusing her of going in my room all the time.
I've inspected your room several times, just like when I go through the building periodically. I don't just go in your room because I feel like it. There are laws, and I know the laws, and I have to abide by those laws. Unless I smell smoke coming from your room, or unless there's emergency, I can go in there without your consent, but I have to leave you a notice stating that. And that's never happened. You can look at the cameras. I do not go in anyone's room without anybody's permission, or at least giving them a notice that I'm coming in there. That I don't do that.
But you never tried to go in while I was there, correct?
I'm not understanding.
While I was in the room, you'll say inspections at 10 a.m. I'll wait there for you, but you never come in there at that time.
I put the inspections beginning at 10 a.m. It doesn't necessarily mean it's exactly at 10. So you're already aware that I'm coming into your unit.
Anytime that day.
Basically, that's what I put on the notice. I put beginning at 10 a.m. throughout. I would say till the time I'm there, till about 3:30. Sometimes I have to wait for my maintenance people to come in with me to double check, we need to fix this now. I'm not an expert on fixing things in the building.
I gave you Christmas cards this holiday. You gave them back.
Right, because your Christmas cards had satanic slurs on them.
I have them here.
And I didn't want your
We're
Christmas
getting a
cards.
little far afield.
I have them here.
This concerns what happened on the date in question.
I think she's saying it. She's saying satanic slurs, witchcraft. She's saying I'm threatening her. She's scared. And I called you a liar, correct? I said that you're a pathological liar.
Several times.
That you lie 24 hours, 7 days a week. Yes.
Anything further?
You told everyone in the building that I'm the reason why they can't have their holiday meals. That's what the tenants came and told me.
I never told anyone that.
But you're saying every time you go to set up a holiday meal, I write graffiti on the paper.
No, I said you deface my paper, is what I said. Like when you put remarks, this is supposed to be funded. Why do we have to bring stuff? Why is there discrimination? This is what you write on my paper.
When you first came to this building and we first had a meal with you, did I bring Popeye's chicken?
That was 3 years ago. I honestly cannot remember.
I bring Popeye's chicken every
Smith, we're getting way out of bounds here. Do you have any further questions regarding the incident?
No, I have no further questions.
Any reason? Nothing. Okay, you may step down. Any further witnesses for the Commonwealth?
No.
Ms. Smith, do you wish to testify?
Tell
me your side of the story.
Yes.
Okay, do you have any witnesses to present?
No, not at this time.
Okay. You can testify from counsel too.
Okay. I think I'll start with the Christmas cards. I can present them as evidence. You can see her idea of satanic writing.
Will you show those to Officer Treviso? What is your name, sir?
Matthew Merrick. He said he didn't want to call no more witnesses, but I can explain when I came in.
Sir, hold on. Is this gentleman here on your behalf?
I didn't talk to him that day.
Okay, well, Officer Treviso is the prosecutor, and he's rested.
That's fine.
So he doesn't feel the need to present the testimony.
Okay.
She changed it, because what she did was...
Okay. Please don't testify while you're looking at the evidence. Just inspect it, remain silent, and then I'll rule on whether it's admissible or not. You can show the judge.
And I can just bring I gave everybody a Christmas card. Maybe they would like to see it and testify. These are what I gave for Christmas to everybody.
Okay. Do you want to tell me what happened on the date in question?
Again, you know, for a year now, I had, ever since like 3 different incidents happened, Teresa has basically been harassing me in my room. She's been going in there, breaking items, taking items, and at first I had thought it might have been another tenant, because when I first moved in there, like the first couple years I was there, another tenant had gotten a hold of a master key, but he's not there anymore. I thought maybe he sold it to someone. So I don't complain to her every day, but on this day, something was missing, some money in my phone, and I asked her if she checked the camera, and she said that she checked the camera and no one had been in my room that day. And then I asked her, I wanted that password for the computer, so I asked her, did you make yourself system administrator on my computer using group policy for your network? And she said, how would I do that? She didn't say no, she didn't say yes, she said, how would I do that? Then I asked her, what have I ever done to you? And she started naming like 5 things that she feels like done to her. It didn't have anything to do with witchcraft or Satanism. And I asked her, are you talking to other tenants about me in the building? I said, did you tell Matthew, or tell me not to talk to Matthew, and did you ask him where I was when I went away and what I was doing? I'm 39 years old. I don't need her. She's not my babysitter. I mean, I think it's gone a little far, the way her getting involved, talking to me about it to the tenants, and that was basically, yeah, the questions were coming. I mean, it took her a while to say the things that I'd done to her. I wrote down everything immediately. Like that day, I had wrote it to you, and they attached it to my thing. The questions I asked are on there. Let me see, I have it. Oh, good. So those are
You're here to testify.
right. So those
So
are
the court's going to rely on your testimony
okay.
rather than the statement. The allegations here, Ms. Smith, are that you were loud, abusive, threatening. Would you care to comment on those allegations? I mean, the first witness said this lasted an hour. Teresa says no, it was more like 20 to 30 minutes. Maybe to the first witness, Ms. Pearson, it appeared to be an hour because it was difficult to digest at the time. But the victim in this matter, the alleged victim in this matter, says it was 20 to 30 minutes.
And the police officer said it happened in the hallway.
Well, it's pretty clear that it occurred in a public place. But what I would like to hear from you is your rebuttal to the testimony that you were abusive, belligerent, loud, you used obscene language. Basically, you just wouldn't let this go. Would you care to respond to those allegations? Because they go to the heart of the citation.
As soon as she closed her thing and she closed her door, I did leave. She happened to call the police at that time. On the 911 tape, I should be in my same tone of voice saying, I've never gotten angry with you or done anything to you, Teresa. And my lawyer said they couldn't bring the 911 tape. I asked this officer to bring the 911 tape because I'm sure I'm in the background saying something to her while she's making that call. Maybe I wasn't picked up. I don't know. I haven't heard the tape. No, I wasn't yelling at her, but I was serious. Like this. Like, I'm very serious with you. Just like that. Like, I'm very, very serious with you. Did you make yourself system administrator in my computer by group policy? Talking to her like that. I mean, to me, that's not yelling. It may be a certain tone. It may not be the cheeriest tone. I wasn't in a cheery mood. But the pitch of my voice wasn't raised, and the volume of my voice wasn't raised. And there was no pointing, and I wasn't threatening her at all. This was strictly asking questions. I did say to her, maybe you should go back to Spain because she doesn't understand anything. I mean, she really doesn't. She doesn't understand. I don't think she has a full grasp of the language. She doesn't seem to understand. She didn't seem to understand what I was asking her. I did say that to her. I think, she doesn't understand that I don't want her talking about me to the other tenants. I don't want her touching my things, breaking my items. I don't think she understands that. I don't know if she can understand that. She doesn't understand. I was very serious with her though. Very serious. Like I gave you a little example. That is how I am. Maybe, I spoke to him in the same tone that I spoke to her when he came to my room. It still wasn't yelling. Yelling to me means that you use about this part of your throat, your mouth is open, you let a lot of air come out, or real high, like singing, but usually the mouth is open, and a lot of, I think, what Tahita picked up on was that I was serious. I was very serious. And for her to make herself system administrator on my computer, I had to have the hard drive replaced. It was very serious to me. I had to have the hard drive replaced, and I didn't think it was at all funny. I'm not a laughing matter or a joking matter or a light matter. It's a very serious matter to me. And then, it's just like, well, really, what have I done to you? I just really want to know, what all did she feel I had done there? All of a sudden she says that she had wrote a letter to me, and it said, I don't want to talk to your mom. I only want to talk to an outside agency about you. And at this point, she didn't want to talk to me. I talked to Teresa about 5 times in the entire year, from all the way to the beginning of January 2012 till now. Once for about a rent rebate application, and once for a LIHEAP application. I think I asked her for my rent receipt. Once she had to give me any of my rent receipts because I don't talk to her. I don't go to her and ask for her rent receipt. She's that way. She lies, and she's an exaggerator. She lied and said that she was going to fix my blinds. They've been broken since they fell down and out of the hinging, and she was going to fix that when she said 3 years ago. It's been going on that long. I mean, so, she wormed her way into my room after I told her I'm putting things in storage. She saw the things ready to go in storage and said, oh, you made such a mess here. The fire inspectors can't get in here. And I was like, I'm taking this to storage. And what are you doing here? It's not inspection time. You said you were here to fix a blind, and you're not. You're here to, cause trouble and look at my stuff. And that's an example of how she lies. And when she did that thing about the fire inspector, she then immediately she asked me to leave. She said she was evicting me. First, she called the county mental health, mental retardation, and told them, I'm going to be evicting NaOmi now. She doesn't have a release for me to talk to the county about me, but she inquires of them about what my problems are, what my issues are, and I think it's harassing to me, and she doesn't understand. That's why I mentioned Spain. She does not understand that it crosses the line. I'm not her child. She thinks herself a counselor, but, I'm not her patient. And, other tenants come up to me, tell me Teresa's saying stuff about me. Matthew said that Teresa was saying that every time I left the building, I stuck my middle finger up at her. I don't talk to the woman. Talk to her, again, I don't even get my rent receipts from her because I don't talk to her. You just talk to her. If you give her the impression that you're not playing the games that she's playing, she automatically assumes that you're being aggressive towards her. She had told me once that her father was an alcoholic and that there was a lot of conflict in her family. So I've known people like that before, and I think they're very sensitive to, I'm talking to her like I'm talking to you now, actually, this serious manner. I think they're very sensitive to any type of confrontation. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to ask for the question. At that time, I needed the password. I'm not trying to scare her. Again, I don't even talk to her. But at this point, I just wanted to get everything out. What have I done to you? What are you even saying to the tenants about me? And why are you in my room breaking stuff? I had the evidence of stuff she's left or done in my room. Not everything, but I have what's been left behind. Little messages like a stalker does, you know. And she said those cards were satanic. I mean, if you ask Tahita and Matthew, I gave everybody the same card. I gave everybody the same exact words on everybody's same card. They might even have had one of those cards because I gave like 2 cards out. An angel one and 'Tis the Seasons of Peace on Earth one. She gave them back because she's got a problem with me. That's why she gave them back. She said satanic, right? You should. I mean, she thinks I'm some sort of Satanist. I mean, this is evidence of, I think, of how she is. I think it is. I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't know what to say. Could you ask me something specific? I don't know. Something specific? Like, is there something you want me to... I don't know. I can read this. I can read this statement.
No, that's not appropriate.
Okay.
No, you're doing fine.
Okay.
We're going a little far afield here, but I'm more interested in knowing what happened on the date in question. I think you've adequately given your side of the story. Officer, do you have any questions for Ms. Smith?
No. Nothing to question, sir.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? I know you brought some other
Yes, sir. Yeah, I did. I didn't know. I know it's not really relevant. I had asked your secretary if I could do a counterclaim. They said it would be a he said, she said, and you wouldn't really want to do that. And then I should have my lawyer do it, but I didn't have a chance to have him do that. But I brought some of the stuff that she's done. If the court would come along and look at it.
What do you have?
I have
Is relevant.
red hairs that she placed on my aquarium, and she broke the bulb from the aquarium. A calculator taken out of a drawer and smashed and bent. And silverware. She replaced my silverware, my utensils, with this, what I think is used thrift store silverware. And I have that stuff, and I have one silverware item that I think may have fingerprints on it. May be able to get fingerprints off of it.
Really not pertinent to this proceeding, but I will take notice that you have these items, and they are what you claim them to be.
Yes, and I swear to God, that I never threatened Teresa's life. I never threatened to harm her. I never threatened her. Tina couldn't define belligerent. I know she started saying cursing and stuff, but I wasn't doing that. She said the S word. I'm not sure, what she's meaning by that. I know when Matthew walked in, I did say, did you tell me not to talk to him? Like, what is your relationship with Matthew? Because I had a sexual relationship with Matthew, and I'm not sure how she knows Matthew or why she's getting involved in that relationship. Me and Matthew had a falling out. We're not friends, but so I may have gotten wrong when I turned back and shouted and pointed at Matthew, but basically I had my back turned. I didn't even see any of these witnesses. I was just focusing on Teresa asking her questions.
Alright. I think I've heard enough regarding this incident. Ms. Smith, you used the term cross the line. I think that's an appropriate characterization of what happened here. It's abundantly clear to the court that there is an enormous amount of animosity between you two, and particularly from you to her. I think you let that get the better of you here, the opportunity to do this all over again. If you don't appeal within 30 days, my verdict stands, and you'll have to make disposition of the fines and costs. Based on the circumstances in this case, the fine will be a de minimum, which is $25. But there are costs in addition to that. But that's the lowest the fine can be. It could be $300, but I don't think that's appropriate. $25 fine plus cost. All right. Thank you, officer.
Thanks, Judge.
You're not here for the landlord matter.
Nope. What's your last name?
Thank you. That's Rich.
Teresa,
Yes.
I reviewed the lease in this matter. It's clear there's a lease. I think it's about a year old, February 2012. There appears to be a notice provision within the lease. Would you agree?
Yes.
Was any notice provided in this matter?
Could you
Prior to filing the complaint, was Ms. Smith ever provided with a notice to quit? Because of what happened, because of your behavior, this notice is being provided, and it is our intent to file a complaint against you if you do not voluntarily move within a certain amount of time.
Yes, it is, and I don't have a copy with me, but yes, it was given to Miss Smith. It's actually the third one.
So your testimony is that there was a notice provided
Yes.
prior to filing the landlord-tenant complaint? This incident occurred on December 20th. I believe the complaint was filed January 3rd. Does that sound right to you?
Yes.
See how good my memory is. Officer Chirizza's handwriting is left something to be desired, but I believe it was December 20th.
Yes.
When this
Yes.
incident
All the
occurred.
time. Yes.
Okay. And you filed the complaint January 3rd.
Yes.
When was the notice provided?
The notice was provided the 21st of December. It was a 10-day notice. It wasn't a 30-day notice. But in the past, we've had these types of notices, and we've been able to come to some sort of an agreement.
Okay. All right. Am I correct that it was the incident that gave rise to the citation, which forms the basis for the eviction?
Yes, and at the same time, no.
Okay.
Yes, because it is the last straw with what happened with the citation. No, because this has been going on for a while.
You testified previously that there were some previous incidents.
Yes.
Now, Ms. Smith informed the court that she basically has nothing to do with you. And she can count on one hand the number of times she's actually had any conversation with you during the year that she's been living at the YMCA.
I can say it has been a while. I'm not going to tell you exact time because I really don't know. It has been a while. In reference to what I do with NaOmi, and I've tried several times to even approach her and say, can we talk? Can we straighten this out? You know, I'm the manager in this building, and we have to communicate because when something happens, who else are you going to go to? You know, and I get shoved off by her. She gives me the finger. She calls me names. I walk away from her. I have tried several times to even go out in the community and try to get maybe a mediator, somebody with a background in reference to if we could all come together. And still, she curses at me, yells at, there's no talking with her. And when I do try to talk with her, that's all she does. In reference to her rent receipts, I put them under her door every month. I don't know what she does with them. She doesn't even come to me to pay the rent. She went straight to the bank, which is fine, and has us, they send us electronic checks every month for the rent with her name and information. I put it in the computer, I print out her receipt, I put it under her door or in her mailbox.
What is the YMCA seeking at this point in time?
The Bethlehem YMCA Affordable Housing is seeking that NaOmi vacate the premises due to being disruptive. I also have here some of the rules in the lease that I highlighted that she is breaking.
I reviewed them. I'm familiar with the terms.
She even has...
So you're seeking possession?
Yes.
All right. Do you have anything further to present? All right. Ms. Smith, what would you like to tell me in response to the landlord?
I would like to say that if we could go over to my room right now, you can see that there's something underneath my door that doesn't allow anyone to put anything under the door. She doesn't put rent receipts under my door. If you could see that right now, then that would be proof that she lies.
Let me ask you something, Ms. Smith. You've been a tenant for about a year.
Before she worked there. I've been there since like 2009. Before she worked there. It was fine before she
So there was just is there a new lease every year?
Every year, yes.
Okay, so the lease that I was provided is just the current lease. So you've been there for about 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Is it your wish to remain living at the YMCA?
That is what I need, and I'm on a waiting list, and I would like to remain there until I can get on the waiting list. If I can get on the waiting list. It was always a temporary place. I've just been waiting on waiting lists. I've been on waiting lists.
So you wish to stay?
Yes, I do. I mean, not because I like the harassment, but only because I'd rather be in a warm place, especially in the wintertime, than outside. Not because I love...
Are you telling me that you would be homeless?
Yes.
If you were evicted?
Yes, I would be.
You realize, Ms. Smith, that you live in an environment where you don't control the situation. There's rules, there's regulations. You're not at your own home. You're not in a private residence.
What do you mean by
You're
that?
staying at a public facility where you're subject to a monthly inspection.
Right.
My sense here, ma'am, is that you have some real privacy issues. You don't like anybody messing with your stuff, coming into your room. But the fact is, man, you live in an environment where it's mandatory
Can I just
to
show
have
you?
a monthly inspection. Just listen to me for a few minutes. And I think you have a real problem with some of the rules and regulations.
I never had a problem until she came and started harassing.
I think there's also, I think you have a severe problem with Teresa. I think there's a severe lack of respect. Like it or not, Ms. Smith, she's in charge. She's the property manager. And you have to find out how to get along, because there's constant friction and confrontation, and it's put you in a very vulnerable position. I mean, you're the last person who should be in this position, because as you just testified to the court, if you're evicted, you're living under the Fahey Bridge.
Right, but I'm not
Doesn't
gonna...
sound real attractive to me.
I don't want my stuff broken. I mean, I don't want hairs left in my room. I don't like that. I am gonna stand up for myself. I'm gonna advocate for myself.
And I don't hold that against you, man. And you've done a good job advocating for yourself. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me?
just, you have my statement.
I do.
Yes, I'd like to show you something that was just one of the items.
What is it?
Should
you just tell me what it is?
It's a light bulb with hair.
I don't need to see that, ma'am. I realize you have privacy issues and that it's your belief that Teresa like randomly breaks into your room and messes with your stuff, breaks things, steals things, hacks into your computer.
Well, I didn't say hacks. It's group policy. It's not exactly hacking. It's network security.
Ma'am, one could argue that your level of paranoia exceeds reasonable bounds. You strike the chord as someone who's extremely paranoid. Teresa, is there anything else you'd like to tell the court?
The only other thing I would like to tell the court is that Miss NaOmi has stopped taking her medication and has fired all of her intensive case managers. And the other thing is when all the tenants come into the building, they sign a release of authorization form, which gives me the right to speak with other agencies in reference to what they're going through and how we can work together on helping them. And that was the reason why I went to the mental health facility down on Elm Street to try to get her some help, to let them know that she was going to be evicted. I was going to try to evict her and that I didn't want to leave her in the street. So I basically went over there to try to find NaOmi some assistance in reference to moving on to a place where she's happy.
Well, ultimate to a blood test, I have medication in my system. I do take my medication. I don't know where she comes up with this stuff, Your Honor. You think I'm paranoid? Is that really paranoia? I mean, two times I try to give you examples where I can prove stuff. I'll do a blood test. You can court order a blood test. And then as far as my room, if you can just, it's right next door. Maybe you can send one of your secretaries.
You seem completely coherent to me today. You've expressed yourself perfectly fine. I'm not going to consider the testimony that you haven't taken your medications. That's not an issue before me. You certainly seem to understand the nature of these proceedings, and you've done a fine job defending yourself. All right, I'm going to close the record. I have a couple days to make a decision on the landlord-tenant matter. I have to make a decision immediately on the citation. I do not on the landlord-tenant matter. I'm going to consider what I've heard. All parties will receive a copy of the court's decision. And again, there's a 30-day appeal period. This matter's concluded. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Roy.